All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session. This is the American Community Survey in Your Community by the Numbers, Part 2. So my name is Anthony Ermitaggio. I am a data dissemination specialist with the Census Bureau. I'm one of the data dissemination specialists across the country available to conduct trainings, presentations, respond to data inquiries from data users and other stakeholders. So towards the end, I'm going to share information on how to contact myself and my group in case you want to have a request to do a customized training for yourselves. A few reminders, all lines were muted on entry to prevent any noise in the backgrounds like birds and dogs barking to make it a nice smooth ride today. Also, I'm going to be fielding questions on chat, solely on chat. So if you have any questions, sort of wait the middle towards the end to make sure I don't answer it automatically, and then I'll try to view it and see if I can answer your questions while I'm doing my session this morning. Also, towards the end, I'm going to be sharing a PDF file of this slide deck, as well as we're going to complete an evaluation of this program. So stay tuned for the end, and you'll be able to download a copy of the slide deck in PDF format at the end. So this is part 2, right? So part 1, I'm going to go through the whole agenda, but I'm not going to just show you the outline, but I'm going to skip right to part 2. If you missed part 1, you're welcome to join. There's other sessions coming up, live sessions in the coming weeks. So this first infographic that was up on your screen, you can see I put this up there. It's because it comes from the American Community Survey, which is what this is about. It shows educational attainment of women by race. So you can see here that this is population universe age 25 and older with a bachelor's degree or higher. 33.7% was from the white race, 23.8% from black race, Hispanic or Latino origin, 17.6%, and you can see the other data points there as well. So this is the outline that we had. In case you missed it, right, we went through the basic American Community Survey basic, resources for learning more, how census data can help you. We watched a little short video on a real-life example from Target and how they use our video, how they use our data to help their business. So part 2, we're going to be going live to access some ACS data. We're going to be going through a few data tools and then keep in touch information, evaluation, and downloading a copy of this deck. So here's part 2. So those of you, again, that missed it, I will put in chat, I will put a link to our ACS website on census.gov. It has a lot of information on there in case you need a background for that. So let me go over the data tools I'm going to be going over this morning. You can see them up on your screen. Quick Facts, American Fact Finder, but only the community facts portion of it. So I mentioned that because there's different ways to search data on American Fact Finder, and you know, we're going to just focus on the community facts search part of it. We do have other sessions that go into more detail on using American Fact Finder. So when I share the information at the end, I'll show you where you can get a list of all the current webinars coming up. I'm going to show you how to get American Community Survey or ACS narrative profiles, and then finally my congressional district. So before I go live to share the data, here's a slide on geography. Geography is very important because we have the data. You got to tie it into a geography for it to make sense. So you can see here, first of all, on the bottom, I have a link if you want to find out more about our geography regarding specifically to ACS geography. You can go to this link here. So a good way to search data on ACS, right? You can definitely get states if you go down the center here. States are nicely divided into county. Counties are nicely divided into census tracts. census tracts have a population of, we try to keep it around the 4,000 range, but you can see it could vary from 1,200 to 8,000, but we like to keep it around 4,000. You can go down to block groups, which is the lowest level of geography available for ACS data, and that is between 600 and 3,000 people. The beauty with ACS is we made it available that you can look up things by congressional districts as well, school districts, county subdivisions, zip code tabulation areas. So there's different ways for you to search the data. So on this slide here, you'll see the link here on the bottom. This is all access to, census.gov/ACS. You can see a list of, you can see on the left here, this menu. If you go into data menu, you can see all the data products that we have, subject tables, accessing American Fact Finder. So this is important. When I go live, I might hit this screen to show everybody. So the next few slides coming up here, again, if you want access to all our data tools on census.gov, on the ribbon here on the top of our homepage, if you click on Explore Data, then Data Tools and Apps, you'll get a list of all our data. We have some wonderful data tools, more than 10, more than 20. And then at the end, I'm actually going to share with you a new data tool that's in process. So we actually have a beta version out there that you can start getting data, which will eventually be replacing American Fact Finder. So the next few slides, you're going to see that I have all the data tools that I'm going to touch upon. You'll have a slide with it and information about what it's used for and a link to it. So let me go by sharing it. So today's webinar, we started at 10:31. It's going to go, I would say, about a half hour, 40 minutes. So let me share with you my web browser. So I'm going to go right on census.gov. So here's our home page, right? So you'll see we have our popular widget here, the population clock here on the right. So you can see we have 328, 700,000 estimated people in this great country, almost 7.6 billion worldwide. So the first data tool that I was in a demo is actually right here, QuickFacts. Before I do that, I just want to show you the landing page for ACS. If I go to Surveys and Programs, ACS, of course, is here. It's the largest household survey that we do. We send it to about 3.5 million households each year, just to give you a little thing what I went over in part one of the session. So from here, you can go into different things. So I know there's always a few people on the phone, they want to know about technical stuff, methodology. You can get that all here. You want to know about we have a methodology report design, how we go about sample size and data quality, technical documentation. If you want to see a list of all the fields and explanations, you can get all that, how we suppress data. So I am going to go to QuickFacts. Now there's a couple of different ways to access it. Explore data, I can do it that way. I had a slide on this so you can see all our wonderful data tools that we have. Let's see, we have quite a few. So it's in alphabetical order, so it should be towards the end. So here's QuickFacts. So QuickFacts is a data tool designed to get quick facts on an area, right? It's not meant to be customizable. We have some little nice features on it where you can download data, print data, but you only see the fields here that are available. You can't add fields. You can't take away fields. You can sort of filter a little bit of what you're looking at. So the data tools that we have, something to keep in mind is that they're all fit for purpose, right? So QuickFacts, for example, gets data from several different sources, right? It gets data from the American Community Survey. In addition, it gets data from economic surveys that we do, like the economic census and the business patterns program, and also from the decennial population estimate program. And the geography limitations are you can search data by state, county, cities and towns that have a population over 5,000. So you'll learn some of our data tools have, geography limitations and data source limitations. So what we can do is, if you want to go into chat, you can list some areas, some counties, cities. You could try to look up some towns, though sometimes you can't get data on it depending on how small it is. So if you want to go chat, I can do some examples using your areas that you're interested in. So while I wait for that, just immediately on the screen, you get a picture of the United States geography, right? So you get quick facts about the United States or any other area that I'm going to put into the search, and I'll show you that. So let me see. I got Seattle. Someone mentioned Seattle. So I just start typing the city name here, or geography name. So here's Seattle City, Washington. So it immediately goes into the table here, side by side with the United States. So let's say I wanted to compare Seattle City with the Washington State. So you can see that I could easily remove United States by clicking the X here. So we have two rows, and I think you could put up to 6 on here at the same time so that you can compare areas. So you can see that Seattle City has about 724,000 people. Right, the population change is estimated to be 19.1% between 2010, which was the census date for 2010, through July 1st of 2017, which is way more than the estimated increase in the entire state of 10.1%. So here, there's some facts that you can look at. A lot of this comes from the ACS, right? So you can see here the percent 65 and over. You have 12.1% of the population. So one thing I want to point out, you see this little I here. If you click on it, you can get some quick information on where we get that from. So this data point actually comes from the population estimates program. It's updated annually. And if you want to get more information about that program, you have hyperlinks here as well. Here's some race data here. You can see the race breakdown. You can see the veteran population, right? So Seattle City has 29,816, and 18% of its population is foreign-born. So if I click on this one, this certainly comes from the American Community Survey. So you can see this foreign-born person data point comes from the American Community Survey 5-year estimate. And again, here it gives you some information about the foreign-born population, includes anyone who was not a U.S. citizen or a U.S. national at birth. So it gives you information on that, which is pretty neat without you going searching on other parts of the website. It gives you information here about housing. Of course, this also, I could tell by this 5-year estimate range, 13 to 17. This is all ACS data. That's why I'm showing quick facts. So the median value of a housing unit is 537,800 for Seattle City compared to 286,000 for the state. You have information here about some living arrangements, language other than English spoken at home, 21% in Seattle City. We have information here about computer and internet use. This comes from the ACS as well. Educational attainment data, 61.7% have a bachelor's degree or higher, compared to 34.5% for the state. So there's a lot of other data you can get here, even some health statistics. This comes from, a couple of these come from the ACS, what industry is the main in this area. For example, total retail sales, $40 million in Seattle City. This probably comes from the economic census from 2012. We're actually updating the economic census, just to let everybody know. Within the next few weeks, we should be getting data from the economic census that we conducted in 2017. You have information here about transportation, travel time to work, income and poverty. So you can see the poverty rate for Seattle City is 12.5%. Some more information about businesses. So a couple of features I'm going to point out here with quick facts. You can nicely map this data. I'll map the city in Seattle. So what it does automatically is, with this, huge state, it automatically gives you similar geography that you can look at here. So it's right now it's doing population estimates. So if you wanted to look at the foreign-born percentage, if you hover over these areas, and let me zoom in a little bit, you can see Covington City has, Kent City has 29.7% foreign-born population, and there's a legend. So the darker colored circles have more of a foreign-born population. So it's nice, you can just hover over. And you can change any data point. You can see the legend here on the bottom. So I can switch to something other than foreign-born. You can also chart the data. So if I chart the city, it'll automatically have all the other cities here. If I had a county geography, it'll give me all the counties in the state. So I can quickly scroll down the list and look at the biggest bar here. Is Bellevue City, that has probably one of the highest foreign-born percentages at 38%. I just got scrolling down. I know I'm going fast here, but just to show you how to use the chart feature. So the other thing you can do with quick facts, you can download, you can print it, you can download it as a CSV file, and you'll have it in Excel so that you can look at a table there and reformat it if you choose to do so. So just to show you something else, if you go to the map here, you could add more items to, if I want to go to this city, I could just click on it and I hit add, and it'll automatically add it to the table without me typing it. So if I go back to the table now, it'll have 3 areas. I'm sorry, it'll have 3 areas of geography. So that's quick facts. You're able to get quick facts on an area. So if you're visiting someplace, you want to do quick research for someone, you can, and the geography is available here, this is a great place to go. Okay. So the next data tool I'm going to show you is American Fact Finder. So I am going to go back to our home screen. I'm going to go to Explore Data, Data Tools and Apps. And here's American Fact Finder. So again, American Fact Finder will be replaced in the near future. It's probably going to be around till the end of this year, beginning of next year, but data updates are going to probably cease pretty soon. But right now, it's fully updated to be used still. And a lot of the features here and a lot of the stuff that you can see, you're going to be able to see in the new data tool. So when I mentioned at the beginning, I'm going to show you the community facts part of it. That's right here. There's an advanced search. So if you wanted to look up, let's say, all the census tracts in, Missouri, you would have to use advanced search, right, for that. But this is not an American Facts Finder webinar. It's just, I'm just showing you another data tool where you can access ACS data. Community facts is an awesome thing here. So again, if you want to continue putting geographies in in chat, I can do those examples. So this one here you can do by zip code, right? You couldn't do that with QuickFacts. QuickFacts lets you search by zip code, but it'll give you the city in the zip code. It will not give you zip code level data. So if I search this zip code, this is somewhere in Manhattan. It's a zip code in New York City. So you can see the population is about 21,000 in the city. So the neat thing with community facts is you can get access, because we have tens of thousands of tables in American Fact Finder. So you have access here to the most popular tables. And you can sort through them by looking at the topics on the left. So if you were interested in origins and language, it'll give you the most popular tables, ACS tables, that we have in American Fact Finder here. So if I want to click, I'm just going to click on Language Spoken at Home table, so you can see some of the wonderful data we get from the American Community Survey. So you can see here, this gives you the population 5 and over, 23,325. It tells you out of those people who speaks English only or speaks English very well. And then towards the right here, it gives you those that speak English less than very well, and it gives you the percentage. And it breaks it down by language and age groups. So in other words, what this means here is out of those that speak Spanish, right, it'll tell you if they are able to speak English as well. So that's just an example of one table. I'll just click on another table here. I'll click on the first one here. So this tells you select the characteristics of the native and foreign-born population. So let me zoom in a little bit. So you can see that it gives you the total number of these characteristics here. The native-born population, the foreign-born population, foreign-born that became naturalized citizens, foreign-born not a U.S. citizen. And it breaks it down by age group. I mean, this is data you can't get anywhere else. It breaks it down by race. It breaks it down by household type. I'm looking here on the left, by marital status, by school enrollment. So basically what this tells you here, if I stay on this one here, out of those that enrolled in college or graduate school, you have almost half are native born. Out of the, well, it's taking it out of the population 3 years and over. Just trying to make sense of this. It gives you 57% are college or graduate school, half of native born, and out of 945, we have to analyze this. Educational attainment, it tells you the percentage in educational attainment, breaking it down by foreign-born versus native, and you can see other characteristics that we have here, employment status, even by occupation. Yeah, this table makes more sense here with the percentages. That one I would have to look at a little more deeply. So let me go back to community fact. So if I go on another topic, if you're interested in the veteran population, we can look at veteran status. But not only veteran status, it gives you more details here. It gives you by period of service. It breaks it down by age. This is interesting. Out of the 75 years and over, right? So a good percentage of them are veterans. It also breaks it down by all the other characteristics that we looked at before. So this is how you search data in community facts. You know, you type in a geography. If I wanted to switch to another geography, if I wanted to type in, let's say, Greene County in Missouri, It'll give me the same tables, just with Greene County. And you can go through all these tables. I mean, I could make this webinar. I could go through a lot of tables and spend hours on it, but I'm just giving you a tool that you can go ahead and search on your own. So the other data tool I was going to show you, not really a data tool, but it's a way to get a narrative profile. So instead of getting data in tables, it gives you graphics, more textual form of data. So I'm going to go to our home page. And the way I'm going to access this is through Surveys and Programs. I'm going to go to the American Community Survey landing page. And just to give you, this wasn't part one, but if you get confused which data tool should I use, we have a simple area here for you to get guidance on that. So I'm going to go to data here. I'm just going to zoom back down so I can see more of the screen. I'm going to go to Data Tables and Tools. And this gives you some of the popular ways to get data here. We did American Fact Find. Here's narrative profiles. So I'm going to click on Generate a Narrative Profile. So you can get different levels of geography, get a narrative profile. You can see that here. So let's do a county. We can go to a county in Massachusetts. I'm just going to pick one at random. We'll pick Franklin County. And all I'm going to do now is click Get Narrative Profile. This is a neat way. We have users that use this in their business plans, business loans, the community research papers they're putting together. You can use it right off our website, and you should cite that it was American Community Survey data from the Census Bureau. So here what you have here is a textual graphic format. So here's households and families. So it gives you a nice breakdown here. There was 30,512 households in Franklin County, Massachusetts. The average household size was 2.27 people. Families made up 58.7% of households. I'm not going to read through the whole thing because you get the point. So type of household, it gives you a nice graphic here. Married couple families have the most type of households in Franklin County. You could even click View Data in Table Format. It gives you a nice little table there. Marital status among persons 15 and older, 50.4% of males, 47% of females are currently married. And this is all from American Community Survey. Nativity and foreign-born. Out of the foreign-born population, most 41.9% come from Europe region. Gives you information on language. 6.7% spoke a language other than English at home. Spanish was spoken by 1.9% of people at least 5 years old. 2.3% reported they did not speak English very well. Geographic mobility, 87.8% of people at least 1 year age or older were living in the same residence 1 year earlier. And it shows you different residents, same county. So it tells you, you know, if people are moving in and out of the area. Educational attainment, right? Almost 28% have a high school diploma or equivalency. 18.8% have a bachelor's degree. Some stats on disability, employment status, and also type of employer. So it tells you the private workers, those that work for federal, state, and local government workers is about 6,504, or 17.6%. Information on what industries the civilian employed population 16 years old are working in. Looks like the biggest one, which was just common, is educational services and healthcare and social assistance at 34.6%. A good number in manufacturing, 10.2%. Retail trade, 10.4%. Those look like your highest ones in this county. Occupations that they work in, commuting to work. It's a humongous report if you print it. Income, a median household income for Franklin County was $57,307. Poverty information, population breakdown in this nice format. It gives you the gender difference. There's a lot of data here. So this is how you get a narrative profiles. I went through it by going to census.gov/ACS, and you can see that here. So the last data tool I'm going to go into is I should be able to get it right from here. I went into more ACS data tools. I could have went into Explore Data and went through the full list in alphabetical order. But here it is. Here, there's Quick Facts, My Congressional Districts, and there's several other great tools here as well. So I'm going to go to My Congressional District. Now, this is a great way. You can use American Fact Finder as congressional district level data, but this is another great way to divide up your area, your state, by congressional district. So I'm just going to pick, let's pick North Carolina. And there's the state there with all the congressional districts. So let's pick Congressional District 6. If you don't know what congressional district's in, there's a little tool here that'll search for you by entering your zip code. So immediately by clicking on in the drop-down District 6, I get facts here on the right, divided up by these topics here. So in this tool here, you also have business data, which comes from the Business Patterns program. So you can see the population in this congressional districts, which seems to be the average in the country. They're usually around 700,000. So you have 768,000 people in this congressional district. It gives you the age breakdown, the race breakdown, Hispanic origin, place of birth, ancestry tables, right? So we also have awesome ancestry tables, and this is a nice way for me to show you. You can get this at any geography level. It's American Community Survey data. So you can go all the way down to a block group, census tract, zip code. So you can see the biggest ancestry group seems to be German, followed by Irish, if I looked at that correctly. And also we have veteran status, disability information, and geographic mobility stuff here as well. And you can see this comes from the ACS 2017, which is the latest data. If you want to get information about workers, you just click on the workers icon here, and you get information on how people commute to work, mode of transportation, and what occupation they work in an industry. Same thing, you have the housing data. All right, so you're able to see some housing statistics here. Some socioeconomic data. So you can see income and poverty information, health insurance. So just to show you the level of detail of ACS data. So here you're looking at the percentage of families and people whose income in the past 12 months is below the poverty level. So by all families, it tells you those that have families with related children, under 18 with related children under 5. It breaks it down by only married couple families. So the married couple families poverty rate here is 5.4%, which is one of the lowest in this congressional district. Families with female household and no husband present, 28.3%, and it breaks down it further by out of those group, those that have children under 18 or under 5. All people, it's a 14.7%. The poverty rate, it gives you the poverty rate for under 18 is 21.5%. 65 and over poverty rates 9.7. This is regardless of family household type on the bottom here. We have education data also. It gives you educational attainment, school enrollment, and here's some business data. Tells you this comes from the county business patterns. So that industry data that you saw in workers here, that comes from the Household Survey, American Community Survey. So if you get that questionnaire at your place of living, it asks you what occupation you work. So it depends on self-identification. This comes from business patterns, and it comes from business responses. So you can see the biggest industry in your state regarding paid employees is, let's look at this. Looks like, yeah, healthcare and social assistance, which we saw this before as well. Annual payroll. So manufacturing has the biggest annual payroll, it looks like here, and healthcare and social assistance. Establishments, great information. Even though this is not ACS, this is great information for your area that you're looking at. You can see which has the most establishments. It looks like retail trade at 2208. So that's my congressional district. Pretty straightforward, pretty nicely designed just to look at specific data for congressional districts. So before I stop sharing here, because I went through the 4 things I wanted to show you, I'm going to go to, let's see if it's in here. I'm going to go into training and workshops, and it'll give you the Census Academy link here. But if you, this is very easy to remember. So another way is just type in census.gov/academy. I've done it before, so I had it in the shortcut. So this is where you can see all the others. So if you're interested in part 1 of this webinar, where I go into more detail about the ACS survey and how it's sent out and the questions in it, you can go here. You can go to upcoming webinars, and you can. We have it scheduled through June. We have webinars here. So here's the one that we're all in process right now, the ACS and Community by the Numbers. So census.gov/academy. So I'm going to stop sharing my browser, and I'm going to go through the rest of the slides. So we did quick facts. We did AFF. Even though we didn't do advanced search, I have some slides in there that could help you get through search and data using advanced search. So here's some data products available. So a lot of the tables that come up with ACS in the American Fact Finder have a table ID, and it begins with 2 letters, or sometimes 1 letter. So you have data profiles just to help you when you're searching data. We have narrative profiles, which we looked at, the non-technical text and graphs. We have comparison profiles. We have selected population tables that you can look up as well. We have detailed tables, B or C. They start with B or C. Subject tables, ranking tables. If you want to rank a state's poverty rate and other key variables, there's 86 of them. You can look up ranking tables. And we have geographic comparison tables as well. So here's some information on a data profile versus a detailed table. What the difference. When you're looking at a data profile on the left here, it's hard to look at, but you get a broad outline of the data you have, like commuting to work, right? It's about 7 lines here. If you go to look at the detailed table, it'll go more in detail in the commuting to work. It has public transportation here. Here it breaks it down that they use a bus, a train, a subway, a ferry boat, a railroad, just to show you the difference between those 2 table types. Narrative profiles, we did those together. There's the link if you want to go directly to that page without going through census.gov/ACS, which you can. And here's information how to access the narrative profile, which we did live. So you'll have this in the slide deck as well. We went through my congressional district. There's a shortcut link. You want to access that directly. The data tools chart. So I showed you when I went to the ACS home page, we have the data tools chart that tells you what tools good to use in what situation, and geography coverage and topic coverage as well. So you can get that from the census.gov/ACS in the data tools section. So we went through the outline to finish off part 2. So here's something, we have a data users group, right? So we have people in the country that share how they search for data, and they just share stories and stuff. And there's actually a data user conference May 14th, 15th coming up this year. And if you want more information on that, you can go to this ACS Data Community website, which is up on your screen now. You know what, I'll type that in chat for you. Someone asked if there's a narrative profile downloadable. Now, right now, they're trying to make it easy for you to print that. You know, we have a print button, and it does it as a PDF, and, you know, it's a nice, smooth transaction. You would have to use your browser's print button. You know, sometimes you can go to print, and you can choose print to PDF. You would it might not come out in the best format, but that's something that they're working on, just to let you know. So here's going to be the new data tool that you can go on and practice now, data.census.gov, right? So it's actually an awesome time to play around with that tool, because we're accepting feedback to help shape the tool. And there's the email will be on that data.census.gov, but you can see the email to provide feedback directly to the developers of this data tool. So we encourage you, when you have a few minutes, to delve into that. They're trying to make it the data tool where, you know, you can just type in, well, what is the poverty rate in Seattle? And it'll search it for you without not too much technical searching where you have to click on geography and figure this out. They're trying to make it easier for everyone. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and go to data.census.gov to take a look at that. So here's our Academy web page that I demoed as well. So you can see here, if anyone wants to request a free webinar for your organization or yourself, you can contact me directly. You know, we can do them remotely for anybody in the country. So you have my email address there. You also have my email when you registered. If you're looking for in-person workshops, you can email us at Census. I'll put that in chat. census.sdata@census.gov. And we can even do in-person workshops. I cover the area mostly of, New York City and Long Island. So if you want an in-person workshop there, you could also email directly. For other areas, for in-person, you can email census.sdata@census.gov. And we also have a phone number. So if you're practicing on one of the data tools that I showed you today and you get stuck, give us a call, 1-844-ASK-DATA. And we have assistants that answer those calls for you. I'll put that in chat as well. I'll put the number without the ASK-DATA. And finally, here's some ways to stay in touch to get ACS data and let us know you're using it. There's the landing page for ACS. You can subscribe when you're on census.gov. Windows pop up. Do you want to get alerts? You can do that. There's our phone number for AskData. There's our email address. We have a Facebook page, Twitter page, YouTube channels, and all that kind of juicy stuff. And also, if you have a specific question regarding methodology of ACS or technical, you can contact the American Community Survey office that we have in Suitland, Maryland. That's our headquarters office at this email address, which is also advertised on census.gov, acso.users.support@census.gov. And they can answer you directly via email. So you do have access to our experts in headquarters as well. So finally, if you have a few moments, I'm going to put the link in chat. If you can just complete a quick evaluation of this session, I would appreciate it. And then after about 2 minutes, I will get back on, and you'll be able to hopefully download a PDF file of the slide deck. So I put the link in chat. If you can't do it on the device you're on, maybe you can save that link and you can do it on a different device later. But I'll be quiet for about a minute, and I'll give you a chance to complete that, and I'll prepare my screen so you can download it. Thank you. All right, so by now you should have been able to complete the evaluation. So you should be able to download the PDF file that I have up on your screen. If you're successful, just give me a green check mark indicating yes, and I know that it worked. If you're not able to download in your device, which sometimes happens, you could be on a mobile device, on a tablet, or a portable device, you may need to wait till we put the recording and definitely the slides on census.gov/academy. You'll have a copy of that there in the future. It could take a few weeks, though. So if you could indicate a green check mark, awesome. Okay, so I have some of those there. That's great. Okay. So thank you all for your participation in this morning's session. And we love it when people are interested in the data that we have. And you can get it using some data tools for free. So we like to show that to everyone. Again, thank you all for your participation, and have a great rest of the week.